Jim Marvin, bless his
Oh,
heart,
yeah.
you know, he provided time for staff and allowed us to work with our friends and help in any respect we could with the promotion and things, and he was wonderful.
Right.
And so many people over the years have been so instrumental in just assisting.
Yeah. The Friends were very
volunteering.
lucky because there were so many people in the community.
Gene
who,
Saylor.
Yeah, who wanted it to be a success and worked like crazy. The Hirschbergs.
Yes.
You know, it was just I mean, there are a million names, and I would hate to start naming all the people because then.
But you can't forget Peggy Green.
Oh, Peggy.
Who at 90
God love
was
her.
still
Yes.
unpacking books
Yes,
at the book
yes.
sale and putting them on tables. I
They-
would never forget that.
The Hatkeys,
Yes.
Mary and Roy, they were very involved in the book sale always, especially setting up the fine arts section. You know, we've just had so many wonderful volunteers.
But we should mention Juanita Podmore
Yes,
and Frances Holly.
right. When they were co-chair, they were the co-chair of the Friends office.
That's right.
And did a magnificent job. And yeah, they were great.
And Frances would never let me put a tablecloth on a table for a friend's tea without ironing it first.
Mhm.
She would go inspect, and if it did not live up to her expectations, you better believe I was down in the basement ironing that
again,
that
yeah.
tablecloth.
Right.
Yes, she was a wonder.
Yeah.
A wonder. What a
Well, and
lady.
Juanita was a retired librarian. She had worked in the children's
right.
youth services.
That's right.
And her husband, Ed, was...
So
yeah.
Linda will be with us for a while, Linda Hayes.
Linda is president currently.
Currently.
Mhm. Yes, oh yeah.
Linda Hayes is the president now, and she's been really active on the board, and I'm sure she'll be a wonderful president. Warren Taylor started the online sales. But all the members, all the board members are hardworking and do a wonderful job at what they do. And then Frances Holly twisted my arm and talked me into being the Friends office manager, which at that time was a part-time job. So I started that job in 1995, just before the bond issue passed for the new library.
Exciting time.
And at that time,
but a
Frances
lot of
Holly
friends know her.
was the most gracious woman I think I have ever met. She and her husband had been active in the library, and when I came here, she was the coordinator of volunteers, and that was a job she had done freebie, and Mr. Marvin had the good sense to recognize that this woman was such a jewel, and she worked so hard for the library that he actually put her on salary. And she stayed here until her retirement. And she would look after me as if I were her son. And she would give me tips, and she would talk to me, and she would, I said, well, what is this? Somebody asked me to give a talk, and I don't even know anything about that. And she said, oh, well, and Frances knew everything, and I think everybody. And she and her family, her whole family, just were beautiful people.
And, oh, there was an incident with a fruit punch. Remember it? Okay,
I don't think so.
listen up. This is a moment in Friends history. We had the best spread. Mrs. Jasperson made cookies and those wonderful roll-up sandwiches
Yes,
and things.
yes.
And we were honoring the Friends, and Frances Holly was there.
Yeah.
And she had arranged for chrysanthemums to be given out to everybody. And it was spring, and it was beautiful. And I thought it would be a fabulous idea if we had a fruit punch fountain. See? I knew you wouldn't remember. It's fruit punch fountain. And it fruited. I mean, it
She always had good ideas.
burbled. You never have said that to
No,
me.
I haven't.
No. Anyway,
I can't imagine why I'm saying it now.
excuse me. May I continue here with
Yes,
my burbling?
please, please.
Okay, so it was burbling happily, and it had but it had chunks of fruit in it. That was a bit of a problem. And you should have been on that, because you were on that committee too, if I remember correctly. But
Probably.
anyway, somehow the fruit got sucked into the motor of the fruit fountain.
Oh.
And the next thing I knew, we were having fruit shrapnel shooting all over the auditorium. And Margaret Franklin, God love her, she was there, and you remember how just important she was. She was a very staid lady, but had a wonderful sense of humor. And I
Dry-
remember
dry
just
sense of humor.
yes, well, not at this point, because at the moment I was talking to her, a strawberry flew across the room and hit her right in the glasses. And I mean, what can you say at a moment like that?
Susan remembers everything so vividly.
Well, that was a vivid, I can believe. Anyway, she said to me, as Margaret was, she recovered quickly, I not so much, but she recovered quickly, and she said, red was always my best color. I loved her. Holy smoke, you're gonna be in charge of the book sale?
Yes,
I
you didn't know
that? Well, I guess I can't push you outside again this year.
That's right.
You're in charge, you
better
push
be
me.
careful.
Okay, I'll be nicer.
I will limit your purchasing power.
You can't do that. Not even my husband can do that.
I know. Poor
Poor
Ed.
thing.
Poor
There
Ed.
he is.
I didn't know you very well, so I want to make sure I get your
You
name
must, you
spelled
must
right.
be the only person in the library that doesn't know me very well.
You mentioned Frances Holly, Gaylord. Are there other members who you just think the organization wouldn't be the same without? I mean, obviously yourself.
Oh, no, I think they could live without me very well.
You're right.
So you remember the early years, the
I
1800s?
do. I do.
Mhm. You do.
The Ladies Library Association and I were just like this.
Like they loved you even then,
They
didn't
did.
they?
Yes. Yes.
You're such a
They always
gift.
liked me best.
They did not. Well, maybe in 1800, but you know, we all grow old
That's
enough.
true. That's true.
But the Friends haven't. The Friends
No.
have not grown
That's
old,
right.
and they are wonderful still.